Hello everybody, got my Healy on. I got the throat chakra program running so that I can open my throat and channel messages from the heart. It's interesting with the Healy, like often my throat chakra will come up for reharmonization, and that's definitely the place in my body, my chakra system, that needs the most work. So the Healy is really supportive for me in that way. It's like, all right, let's open it up. So today I just wanted to come on and chat about Pluto, because he's actually changing signs in March, and that's a really, really big deal because he essentially stays in a sign for 15 to 20 years. And Pluto actually creates our generations. There's a lot of talk around like, when do millennials start? When does Gen X end? But if you actually look at the Plutonian movement into a new sign, you will see that he carves this energy for each generation. And essentially he holds the shadow and the transformational aspects of that sign. So for example, my generation, which would be Gen X, Pluto in Libra, if you have Pluto in Libra, the shadow side of that would be power over relationship, or losing your power over relationship. And Pluto in Libra generational people we're really here to learn how to reparent ourselves and have a new relationship with ourselves so that we can then relate to others. So the mirroring back and forth is soul work. Pluto is soul work. If you have Pluto in Scorpio, you're really here to see the shadow side of Scorpio and understand human behavior and understand trauma and give that a voice. Very much your gift when it comes to, it's like where power lies for you is where your Pluto is. But it's also where a lot of soul work is done, which means a lot of hardship and perhaps suffering or trauma or just things that you're here learning. When Pluto changes signs, he carves out a new generation, and he brings a very different new energy to the table. And right now he's at 29 degrees Capricorn, so he's at the very last degree of Capricorn, and he moved into Capricorn in 2008. I'm not sure exactly what that generation is called. If you know, leave a comment. But 2008 on would be Pluto in Capricorn generation. And so those babies born during that period of time, and societally, what happened, that was the recession, right? 2008 was when the housing market crashed, and we all started to ask ourselves, like, wait a minute, who's our authority, and who are these authority figures? We started to talk more about political corruption, corporate corruption. Essentially, we started owning the patriarchy and how big of a problem it was. It became normal conversation and acceptance that the patriarchy has some serious, serious problems, obviously. And we also really are starting to understand masculine and feminine imbalances in our society, and how the masculine, the toxic masculinity can kind of take over, and then there's no place left for the feminine. And so we're trying to essentially balance these two things out. And Capricorn, where Pluto has been, is the one to be the authority, to be the leader, to be the one that's climbing the mountain to its successes. Capricorn energy holds structure and system. And there's nothing wrong with any of that, except the way that humans have been manipulated and controlled in those structures and systems. And that's really what Pluto brings light to. He brings it to the surface. Like I said, he's at 29 degrees, and that is a critical degree in astrology, and it holds this energy of almost like a frantic crisis kind of urgency. And so from now until March 23rd, when he moves into Aquarius, and I'll do probably a whole different video on the Aquarius Pluto energy when it comes, because we'll be talking about that for many years. But when he's at the last degree of a sign, there's like this sweep it up, hurry it up, like this like frantic, get it done kind of energy. And he will go back into Capricorn when he retrogrades later on in the year for just a little bit before he moves back into Aquarius. So this year is definitely 1 foot in the new and 1 foot in the old, and kind of sweeping up the old in order to make space for the new. And it's a taste. It's definitely a taste of what's to come in our future. So let's see. Like I said, Pluto will illuminate shadow in order to transform and create space for the new. And in Capricorn, there's been a lot of learning that we are our own authority And so in order to take our power back, we have to realize that like the spiritual growth or the spiritual, in order to become spiritually awake in this lifetime, you have to go in and down. In and down, and stop looking externally for something to save you or tell you what to do or create a structure and system that you can follow. It's like, in order for us to move into Aquarian energy, in the age of Aquarius, which we're moving into, we have to look inward in order to find our own inner authority. And essentially, like when Capricorn is in alignment with its own inner authority, and not looking externally to worry about what people think or what to do or what to build or even what to believe, that place, when the Capricorn is fully in alignment with inward, heart-centered truth, then you build the systems and structures, and they're fantastic, and they're healthy, and they're don't overpower the people, or they don't control. And from that place, that's really what Pluto has been asking us to do, is like, hey, go in. Who's the authority? You're the authority. What do you need to do in order to take that power back? So it is a pretty tumultuous, energetic time when especially Pluto, an outer planet that, you know, is a really potent planet, is in a degree that's very a bit frantic. So you want to give yourself a lot of space to chill, ground, go within, be reflective, ask yourself that question, like, who is my authority? Am I my own authority? Am I looking at externally for a system or structure, or just the way it's always been done to tell me what to do, right? There is this question around, hang on a minute, what is important, and what systems and structures do I want to participate in order to create the new earth, the new future, you know, the new generations. So we've all been doing this in our own way, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just that we've really been asked to question the systems that we've grown up in, even, you know, our parental systems, and any place where there's been an authority telling you what to do. And this is also why a lot of people have quit their jobs and started their own businesses and done all kinds of things, because they're taking their authority back. And if you're in alignment with your authority, right, and you are, your truth is to work for someone else that you believe in, that's beautiful. That's great. It's about becoming inward and being aligned with what's in here. Pluto's very intense. He definitely can bring up a lot of our shadows. He can kind of, I'm hearing like, sweep it up, sweep it out. Like all the leftover crumbs that are under the rug are going to come out. And that means internally and in society as a whole, these things are going to come to the surface so we can start seeing more truth. What the invitation is to really embrace the crumbs, the dirt coming up from the carpet, the sludge coming up, so that you can look at it and be like, okay, this no longer has power over me, and I'm really going to honor this part of me and this part of my life and have compassion for myself here, but it's no longer becoming, it's no longer an authority for me. And when Pluto does move into Aquarius, I will create another video about that, talk more about that. And this week too, we have the Sun and Saturn together, which is going to bring Saturnian illumination to your life. Like, where do you need to take responsibility for yourself? Where do you need to have another boundary? Where do you need to create a system or structure for yourself? And you can really use that power to get some things done that are in alignment with like the things that you need to do, like actually do. We also have Venus and Neptune together, which is super dreamy. It's in Pisces. It's super creative, musical, emotional, poetic, spiritual, meditative, loving. So that energy is beautiful too. That's this week. And then we're also coming into Jupiter and Chiron being conjunct, and I think it's like March 12th, but essentially we're in that energy right now, which is going to bring up old wounds so that you can take a look at them and honor them and grow from them. Chiron would be the wounded healer. Jupiter would be the planet that would be very expansive, where you get a very bigger picture on the subject. So you put those two together and it's like perhaps your trigger, but then perhaps you're able to zoom way out into the big picture, and I kind of see and not get really stuck in the details, or you're able to pass through it quicker, you're able to see a different perspective on it for yourself, for your healing. Or maybe you meet a teacher this week or somebody that's a great expander for you and really helps, they really see you and they really help heal something in you, or they help mirror back to you how you can heal for yourself. So the energy this week and even last week is pretty complex because it's different flavors. It's like I'm seeing an ice cream cone and there's like 4 flavors on it, and we're holding all the flavors and we're kind of, you know, tasting each flavor, and that's can be a little bit of a roller coaster. And so just go with the waves. Like if you're feeling a really loving creative wave, go with the flow of that wave. If you're feeling okay, this is like my time to like really like grit down and get something done that's just been, I know I need to do, then do that. If you need to call in a friend to have a hard conversation, if you can find the flow throughout these next few weeks, it will be very helpful. So don't like push really hard to move forward, because there is forward momentum. But if you do it in a way where you're moving with like what you feel called to do as much as you can, that will really, really help. And I do have some spots open for my Soul Blueprint Alchemy program, which is my 4-month-long program where I get to help one-on-one. It's the most beautiful, rewarding work I've ever been able to do with people. And so if you're feeling like you're at a crossroads in your life, or you're ending a relationship, or you're wanting to start a business, or you're just wanting to kind of like embrace this new Aquarian energy, which is very much like do something new and be a little bit rebellious and honor your authentic truth and live a life that feels more in alignment, right, with your soul's mission, or even understanding what that soul's mission is and where you're at in the cycle of your life right now, and even your past lifetimes. This is like all things we get to do in my program, and I feel so grateful and so deeply called to this work of transformation to help people alchemize and move through like one space in time to another space in time where they almost get to call in their best future version of themselves. That's what I get to do with people. So if that sounds intriguing to you, and you're in a space where you really want to dive deep into yourself and have a lot of support from somebody who gets to see your blueprint and then I have a very intuitive way of looking at it. So I get to see all kinds of things and know ways to help you on your journey and understand like where you are and where you want to be. Please reach out, send me a DM, send me an email, let's talk. We can jump on a free 30-minute phone call and just see like where you are now, where you want to be, if the program is a good fit for you. Don't accept everyone. It has to be in integrity and alignment with my truth. And I do that because I have to know that I can actually help you in the program, and that our energy together can actually create alchemy. And so the 30-minute call is very much for me to understand where you are, where you want to be, and also like for us to feel each other's energy out, and so I can understand if I can actually, help you alchemize. So if that's something that's intriguing to you, let me know and we can set up a call, and we can go from there. But I would love to talk to you if that's something that sparks you in any way. Otherwise, stay grounded, embrace your shadow. If you are feeling a little bit of that frantic, clean it up, like end the thing energy, just try to go with it and don't force it. And sending all of you so much love.